Alright, so let's begin this video. Basically, we're going to cover HVAC SEO. So this is going to be search engine optimization applied for the HVAC industry. Now, why HVAC specifically? Well, because I've worked with HVAC companies in the past, heating, cooling, and plumbing companies as well, to help them get more leads using SEO. Now, the thing you need to keep in mind, though, is this can be applied for just about any other local business. And we're going to talk particularly about these topics for SEO. And these are the things that are going to really help you rank. And this is going to help you boost your rankings. If, for instance, you're on like the first or second, maybe bottom of the first, second, or third page of Google, and you need some guidance. So the first thing we're going to talk about is keyword research. Then we're going to talk about optimizing the site and the actual technical stuff. Then we're going to talk about NAP keys and Google properties, reviews, and geotagging. These are important factors. There's a bunch of more. There's actually a lot more that you should consider, like schema markup, robots, and this is actually more technical stuff. And we'll cover it briefly, but this stuff, if for instance you're an HVAC company and you need help with ranking your site, this is going to help you a lot. So let's begin. So keyword research, I like to use specific tools for this type of process. Now, the most notable tool I'll use is something called Ahrefs. So let's say we're trying to rank for something like HVAC Brooklyn. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to punch in something like HVAC Brooklyn, New York. Now, if you have the tools for this, then great, awesome, you have these resources. Now, if you don't, let's say if you are, you're new to this and you don't have the budget for these expensive tools, or you just don't care to use these expensive tools, you can use something like Google Keyword Planner. And this is a free tool that Google gives you. And while it might not be as accurate, or while it might not be as interactive as, for instance, Ahrefs, because this is actually designed for people that know SEO and people that are actually in the industry. If you're a local business owner, you can use something like Google Keyword Planner, and this will serve you just fine. So you can type in again HVAC Brooklyn. You can type in something like HVAC Brooklyn, New York. You can type in Brooklyn, New York, HVAC, or Brooklyn, HVAC, or something like that, right? Let's just do this, and we'll get results. And this will give you an idea. Okay, well, what keywords are popular in your area? So we can see that HVAC Brooklyn is searched 100 to 1,000 times a month, right? So it's going to be somewhere in the middle of that. Let's just say, we take it at the lowest or the maximum, right? What you can do is you can go onto like Google Sheets or something like that, and you can just create a new keyword list. So for instance, let's just say HVAC Brooklyn keyword list, and you'll do something like phrase. Then you'll do min volume if you're using Keyword Planner. If you're using something like Ahrefs, you can just record the volume, because this tool particularly will use something called volume. It'll just use a set number, whereas Google Keyword Planner will give you a minimum search. So it's searched, according to this tool, it's searched at minimum of 100 times a month, and but a maximum of 1,000 times a month. So HVAC Brooklyn is the most popular phrase, and let's see if HVAC Brooklyn, it says it searches about 80. So Ahrefs says it's a little lower than what Google says. Maybe Google is a bit more accurate, right? So max volume, and then difficulty. So if you're using, again, if you're using a different tool, you can just type in like just volume. Sometimes it'll give you just the outright volume. And usually that's actually the average of these searches. So maybe this is a bit more accurate to go by. But anyway, we'll do something like, we'll just gather HVAC Brooklyn, right? We'll gather HVAC Brooklyn, New York. We'll gather Brooklyn, New York HVAC, right? We'll just get all of the data for all of these different phrases. So for instance, again, furnace repair in Brooklyn, okay? And this is searched 10 to 100 times. So the minimum searched 10 times, 100 times. Brooklyn, New York HVAC, 10 to 100, right? 10 to 100. And then this one was 100 to 1,000 times. And the difficulty over here is medium. Okay, so I saw that they were medium for a couple of them. So, right, medium, and so on. So, and then this one's low. So I'm not going to go through a bunch of these phrases, but just a couple of them, right? Just so you can get an idea as to what we would be doing. So we're just compiling a list of all these phrases. We would just go through all of these phrases, and we would determine, well, which ones seem profitable. So this one would be cool, right? This one's profitable. because 100 to 1,000 people every single month are looking up HVAC Brooklyn. So if you're an HVAC owner, right, it's likely that you would want to get the one with the highest payout, and in this case it would be HVAC Brooklyn. But then these are the variations that we should keep in mind, right? People are searching up HVAC Brooklyn, New York, and people are looking up Brooklyn, New York HVAC. People are also looking furnace repair in Brooklyn. And then now this is important too. But let's just say this is our money-making phrase. This is what we are going to spend our efforts on. Okay? So now what we would want to do is, now that we've done the keyword research, right? We've done some keyword research. Now, you would probably want to do this maybe for 30 to 50 keywords, like all the keywords that you can think of. Think of, are you providing furnace repair, heat pump repair? Are you doing furnace installation? Just dump all these phrases into Google Keyword Planner, right? And you have to segment them into different searches. I think you can only put in about 5 or 10 searches in Google Keyword Planner. Ahrefs, you can punch in so many of them, so it doesn't really matter with Ahrefs. But if you're using Google Keyword Planner, space it out. So we did the Brooklyn HVAC one, so now we can do something like furnace repair Brooklyn, heating repair Brooklyn, furnace installation Brooklyn, furnace replacement Brooklyn, and you would do this for your area, of course. And again, see which ones are popular. So furnace repair, heating repair, furnace installation is popular. Furnace replacement, no one seems to be searching it, so maybe not something we want to really focus on. So once we've gotten that done, we want to optimize our site, and more importantly, we want to structure the site properly. What I mean by that is, if we go on to, let's say, a diagram of what your site is going to look like, it's going to look something like this. This is your homepage, right? And you're trying to rank for, what was our phrase? Our phrase was HVAC Brooklyn. This is it. HVAC Brooklyn is going to bring us potentially 100 to 1,000 new homeowners to check out our business every single month. 100 to 1,000 new homeowners. That's quite a lot, right? So we want to make sure we're doing this properly. So what you would do then is break it down a little bit. Okay, so Google sees that you have a page about HVAC in your company, but it needs other supporting content. So again, it's kind of like this is our pillar, and then we kind of break it down a little bit, and we have a couple of different pages, and then you break it down even more. It's almost like a pyramid, right? So you have your main supporting content and your articles and stuff that are going to help you rank for this phrase. And this is going to bring you that money, right? This is going to bring you those homeowners and bring you those leads. So what we do is we create something like, let's say, furnace repair page. We create something like a AC repair page, right? And then we create maybe another one called AC replacement page or something like that, right? So we do something like this. And your URL structure would look something like, let's say it's John's HVAC, right? johnshvac.com/furnace repair. It could also be something else. It can be something like johnshvac.com/services/furnace repair. But as long as you have your phrase, your keywords around here and there, furnace repair. You don't want to over optimize and say something like furnace repair. Let me redo this because my handwriting is bad on a keyboard or on a mouse. johnshvac.com/furnace repair Brooklyn, New York. This is kind of overkill, right? This you don't want this. This part is what's going to possibly penalize you and get you kicked off. Don't do this unless it's unless you deem it necessary. And if you're having trouble with this, obviously you may want to reach out to an SEO specialist for your industry. But basically, avoid over optimizing because Google's going to penalize you for this and you're not going to rank well. So make it look natural, right? This looks natural. This looks like something that someone with a good sense of marketing is going to do for their site. This looks like someone who's a bit desperate, right? There's a difference between being desperate and smart. So keep that in mind. So the next thing that you would also want to do is take a look at who's already ranking for this. So obviously, if we look up HVAC Brooklyn, a bunch of companies are going to come up. And we want to take note of who's in, let's say, for instance, your area. So I'm going to use something called GS Location Changer. And you're going to type in like Brooklyn, New York, and click geocode. And it's going to change your search to as if you were in Brooklyn, New York. So Google thinks that this is proper search for someone whose address or someone who lives in the Brooklyn area, according to Google. So Gemini Thermo HVAC, you might want to run them down, right? Just write them down. Don't run them down. Just write down their name. I'm not going to do anything fancy, but I'm just going to punch in their URL here. 212 HVAC, right? Just get a couple of these companies down. Just the ones that are ranking in the 3-pack. The ones that are ranking in the on the first page of Google, right? The organic. So, New York HVAC Services Inc.com. Just get these. Gemini, for some reason, that whatever. Just get a couple of them, right? Just get all the ones that are ranking very well. Get all of these businesses, and then what you're gonna want to do is go through each one of them. Just browse through what are they doing, so you can see they're talking air conditioner installation, air conditioning repair, air conditioner service, ductless AC installations, right? So they're putting everything about HVAC, their keywords here. Okay, service areas: New York metro area, New York, Queens County, New York, Kings County, New York, Bronx, right? So they're listing everything in the New York area, as well as Fairfield, Connecticut, Ocean County, New Jersey, right? So they're listing all of their areas, and they're the ones that are ranked number 1. So we know that Google's not taking that lightly, right? And they also list their other services. You can see the residential, commercial services, right? So let's go to maybe air conditioning. Right, so let's take a look over here. You see air conditioning service, Brooklyn, New York. Okay, so because they have their URL looking like Brooklyn, New York, it's possible that Google won't penalize you for this. But again, use this with caution, because this is really optimizing it maybe a bit too much. So you see air conditioning services, Brooklyn and New York metro area. So you say, okay, well, they have maybe a couple hundred words. It doesn't look like they don't have a video. So maybe we add a video and we're going to do better than them. And we take a look at your, at the other competitors in the area, right? Take a look at, well, okay, how many do they have the same type of pages? So AC repair page, AC repair NYC is their URL structure. So you might then decide, well, the AC repair NYC or AC repair Brooklyn might not be a bad idea after all. And so, again, they only have a couple hundred words here. So maybe if we answer more questions, we're going to do better. And then the next tool, one tool you can use is SEO Minion. So I'm going to make a note of that right down here. SEO Minion. This is a Chrome extension. And once you have this installed, what you can do is you can click on the little guy over here. And then you'll click on Analyze On-Page SEO. And you'll take a look at the word count. So it says down here 778. So 778 words this particular page has. This AC repair page has. And if we take a look at the air conditioning services for Gemini Thermo HVAC, we take a look at their stats, 402 words. So our pages that have to do with, the AC type of stuff. So AC pages should have, and what we can do is, and again, you would want to really do this for all of your competitors. I'm just doing it for 2 competitors right now, just for the sake of time. But you would want to spend some time and go through each one of these, analyze it with SEO Minion, and find their word count. Then what you're going to do is you're going to find the average word count of each one. So 778, 402, 402. And so you see it's 1100, and we're going to divide this by 2, so find the average. So 590 words is what we should aim for. Should have 590 words. So our AC repair page, our installation page, we should have 590 words. In fact, you know what? Let's round it up. Always round up when you have the chance. So, somewhere around 600 words should be your air conditioning and cooling pages. Now, if you're going to do if you're doing this real quick, maybe you could apply this for the heating and the other type of pages or other services that you provide. But let's just say we want to do this for each average page. So let's see how many, if each company has like a page of AC repair and then AC installation is a bit more in wording, unless your services are different and you say, well, we primarily do service like a home repair. That's what one of my clients does. They primarily do AC repair during the summer, and some maintenance work and stuff like that during the winter, since Arizona doesn't get that cold. But basically, what you would then think is, okay, well, if my competitors have 600 words for their AC pages, I should aim for maybe 700 words. Just do a little bit more. It's not about doing 1,000 words, because then Google might, you might have more opportunities to make mistakes, and Google doesn't seem to favor those high word counts. So make sure that you're kind of, not doing it too much. Don't shoot way too high, because then if you don't know what you're doing, you can fall and you can make some errors and you can over optimize and get in trouble. But if you, for instance, copy what your competitors are doing and just make it a little bit better, that's what Google's really looking for. So then the next thing that you can do is look up, for instance, Brooklyn HVAC, and go on to the third page of Google, right around here, let's say, allhvac.com, and see, okay, well, how many words do they have on their homepage? How many words do they have on their service page or anything like that? Find how many words that they have, and then if there's a big difference, and then, for instance, if they have only 100 words, well, on average, 100 words is going to get you on the third page of Google, and it's not what you want to aim for. If, on the other hand, they have 1,000 words and Google's favoring the sites that have only 600 words, again, that you should stick closer towards this number. So once you've kind of done that, once you've done the optimizing the site, and by optimizing the site, here's what you should consider. You should consider the following. 1, you should consider your word count. Number 2, you should consider your headings and keywords. So for instance, you can see over here, they're mentioning NYC air conditioning service, offering you the best options. And again, you can use SEO Minion to do this. So if we go down here and we see where it says headings 4, we see the H1 is air conditioning service, Brooklyn and New York metro area. So this is something they're putting their keywords in there. So we know kind of what to look for. We know that this is what they're doing. If we look at their homepage for this company right here and analyze on page, 212 HVAC quality solutions for heating and cooling. Notice how they don't mention anything about New York. Maybe that's why they're doing so well. Again, it's a lot of testing involved. So you take a look at your heading keywords, your H1, your H2, and H3 and stuff like that. And after that, you would also want to look at your, let's say, your schema markup is something important, right? So schema markup. Take a look at, let's say, structured data tool. And take a look at your competitors, right? So we're going to punch this company in and take a look at their schema. Now, I'm sorry that if this seems kind of advanced and if you have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm trying to break this down to a person that doesn't maybe have the most familiarity with this industry, and also to those who have some familiarity. So schema markup is basically a way for Google to understand more about your business. And it's kind of this code that's written around here and there. So keep that in mind, right? So you can see over here it says schema. This is what Google's reading. Google's reading this. So you see that your competitor, let's say if this was your competitor, they have, their type, HVAC business. Then they have, postal address, street type, Brooklyn, and stuff like that. So what you can do then is use something like schema markup tools. And you can use some of your tools, let's say for technical SEO, there's different ways to do this. You can use structured data testing tool, or let me just try and find it actually. Yeah, this is it. This is what's going to help you. You follow this local business, right? Start tagging. You put in a URL. Let's say I'm trying to do this for one of my clients right now, and you can sort of follow your way through. Now, there's a lot of tutorials on how to use the structured data markup helper. I'm not going to go through everything, but basically you go around clicking on stuff that's important. So like heat wave, air conditioning, and heating. This is what we want Google to know as the name and stuff like that. And so this is going to, again, Google reads this. Google reads this. You and I as people, we don't see this, but Google understands this. And this is why, these guys are ranking very well, because obviously if they have everything Google wants, they're going to get what they want from Google in return. So you can definitely do that. You can use other plugins and stuff like that on WordPress if you have a WordPress site to get your schema done and stuff like that. So definitely consider that. There's a lot of great tutorials out there on schema markup that you can also look up. And then the next thing is NAP key. So what is a NAP key? It basically is a name, address, phone number, keyword, image. That's what NAP key stands for. And what's important about this is it's basically a way for you to put in your keywords, right? So Google can read an image. They're not stupid, right? So Google is not a dumb robot. It knows what you're trying to rank for, and it can read stuff. So for instance, we like to put in our keywords in all of our images when we get the chance. So when should I call an HVAC in Tucson? That's what our blog post is about and stuff like that. So make sure that you understand that. If we go on to the, let's say, one of our pages around here, right? So need an emergency AC repair service in Tucson, AZ. Call us now. Phone number, address. Now keywords are up here, and the name of the company with a little visit, heatwaveair.com, right? We want to have these images in as many places as possible. Don't overdo it. Don't make it look ugly because people are going to think, what the hell are you talking about, right? Make it look natural. That's very important. So that's what you want. You can create it in something like Canva. You can create it in GIMP. To be completely honest, if you're going to do it, you could possibly also do it in Paint and it wouldn't look that bad. Then the next thing you want to consider are the Google properties. So Google properties like Blogger and Google Sites. These are going to be the big ones. So I'm going to use my own business to show you what I mean. So JC Surge over here, and I'm going to go over here to where it says websites. So now I'm creating a site. And here is where I have the opportunity to put in my keywords. Now this is one thing that's really important to note about Google properties. Is while there's no definitive answer, at least I couldn't find a definitive answer, it is very unlikely that Google is going to penalize its own properties. And why is that important? Well, because it means you can put in your keywords and it won't hurt you. It's very unlikely that it's going to hurt you because Google, why would they penalize their own properties? You get what I'm saying? So you can put in, like, for instance, where on your normal site you don't want to be putting, let's say JC Surge was a heating and cooling company. You don't want to be putting in HVAC, Brooklyn, New York, everywhere around your site. On your Google site, it actually can give you some leniency. So HVAC Brooklyn, air conditioning, repair and installation service. This might actually be all right. And the worst case scenario, it doesn't do anything, right? Google will just not favor it. But I'm going to tell you with a fair amount of confidence that it's not going to hurt your site. So then in your summary in your body here, down over around here is where it will appear, right? So let me see if I can find it. Right down here. So we can put in HVAC company, John's HVAC, or let's say it's heating and air conditioning, has been around for 3 decades, providing Brooklyn. You can do Kings County, right? Kings County, New York, with the best HVAC repair service and installation service. Right? So you just put your keywords in there, right? And then you can, at the end, you can throw in your actual exact phrases like HVAC Brooklyn, HVAC repair, emergency AC repair, Brooklyn. Just throw your phrases in there. You can throw a couple of links. So if we had a website, right, John's HVAC, and right, so we put John's heating and air conditioning, bam, give ourselves a little link here. It's going to give us a backlink. And a similar idea applies for Blogger. So what you can do is you can create, I'm going to do this real quick for a fictional client of mine. So, right, so John's HVAC in Brooklyn, New York. You write out a list, a summary of your, your HVAC company. So let's just say we are, whoops. let's just say we are one of these companies, all the way down here, right? All the way down on the third or second page, right? Let's just find one. At your service, HVAC. Okay. Do they have any description? Maybe they don't seem to have a description. Maybe that's why they're on the third page. But let's just say this is the HVAC company that we need to help, right? So we go to contact, or let's just say we go maybe on the home page, and we just take a little summary from them. If there is no summary, right, we are specialists that you can trust. Just reword it a little bit here and there. Oops. I'm just going to make it so that you can see it, right? And I wouldn't publish it like this because I don't like the coloring, but let's just say have an emergency. Okay, there we go. So just reword it a little bit. I would add maybe 200, 300 pages, and what you can do after that is embed your map. So go and look for this guy, right? So you see this is the guy we want to help out. Okay. What you would do is you would embed this map somewhere. So you can look up like Google Maps embed. Oops, that was from Fiverr. But what you can do is, let's say, get started Google Maps, or actually really it's down here. It should be around here. If we take the name of the actual business, we maximize it, you click on share, embed map, copy that, in Blogger all you'll do is, okay, let's see if I remember exactly how to do this. Give me 1 second. I apologize for this. HTML view, paste that in, publish, and really if you click preview, the map probably won't be here. Oh, okay, well, it actually is here. Awesome. So then now you have an embed of your map. This sends a signal to Google showing you that, hey, your map's been shared. It is a positive signal. It's not the strongest signal, but it is there nonetheless. Then the last thing that you want to do is focus on your reviews and geotagging. And now I know that this is getting to be quite a long video, but basically with the reviews, always respond to your reviews and always utilize keywords. So something like I contacted John's HVAC when when my air conditioner broke. They were fast and responsive and sent out a technician to my Brooklyn address, or something like that. You get people to comment or review stuff like this. This is going to show Google that you're relevant for your industry and location. Now the last thing is geotagging. Now you can do this yourself. At JC Surge we use a plugin called GeoSetter. But what you want to do is you want to take a JPEG image, right? So it's important that this is a JPEG image. It won't work for the most, from my understanding, with a PNG. So you can go on something like Fiverr, okay? And you can look up geotagging. You can pay a guy a couple bucks to geotag, geotag 20 images for $5. Send them your images, set the geo coordinates, and what you can do to find that is, let's say that this was John's HVAC, right? You go to your business location, right? And then you right click on it and you'll see these coordinates, okay? And in older versions of Google, it will say like what's here, and you click on that, but you click on the coordinates, and now you have the coordinates that you want your provider to geotag them with. And this is going to show Google, again, Google's smart. They know where an image is. It's a little bit of code that's going to show Google, hey, this is an image that was taken at this location or in the vicinity of where the company's trying to rank for. And you upload this onto your Google My Business. Put this on your Google My Business and put it on your website, and you're going to see better rankings. Okay, so that's pretty much all that I wanted to share for this video on how to get your business to specifically HVAC business ranking higher in Google, both organically and in the map section. So to recap, It's pretty much you look for what opportunities are out there, who's already, utilized or capitalized on those opportunities. How can we make it a little bit better by exceeding the word count, optimizing the heading tags, doing the schema markup, and the couple of other things, right? Meta descriptions. There's a you just look up on page SEO factors. So on page SEO factors, and you'll get a good idea, and just make it a little bit better. And you can use SEO Minion to really show you who's already doing this well. And then nav key, right? So get your name, address, phone numbers, and your keywords in an image. Google properties, use Blogger, Google Sites. There's other things that you can use, but these are the two big ones for backlinks. Reviews, geotagging, and that's pretty much it. So I hope that this video really helps you and your HVAC company rank higher and really just dominate your competitors. If you guys have any questions and would like to speak to me or anyone else about SEO on our team, feel more than free to reach out. You can always call me at 917-747-4234, or you can email joshct@jcsurge.com, and I'll be more than happy to speak with you guys. Thank you for watching, and take care.